So I've been working on another video, kind of an intro to amp modeling video that just covers some basic terms that are very foreign to new users, like FRFR, this Fletcher-Munson curve, things like that, how to level your presets, how to get some good gig-ready presets for live use. But, you know, I was covering some amps in there, and okay, here's how I dial this in, and I realized when I would add this, in this case, I was dialing in a Friedman amp, and it's just amazing that out of the box it sounded great. I really didn't need to do much, so there wasn't a lot of tweaking involved in it. So it kind of got me going. Where I was watching this morning, I was watching one of Leon Todd's videos, and he was messing with the Smallbox, the Friedman Smallbox. So I wanted to bring up that Smallbox and kind of tweak it a little bit, and it sounds great right when I put it in. But I want to show you how important the cab blocks can be in finding that right cab block for your taste and finding the one that's going to sit well in the mix. The harder part is for live use and being able to tweak that live. But generally you can put it in there, get it close to what you're hearing in your head, and then kind of dial it in from there to sit back in the mix better or cut through, or whatever you want to do. So I'm going to add an amp block here, cab block here. Let's bring up the Friedman Smallbox. It's already in there. On the cab, I'm going to go ahead and bring up this. Actually, it's already in there. Let's filter by color. I came through here earlier and filtered things that I wanted to kind of go through and show you. A lot of them sound the same, but this Smallbox sounds good with greenbacks, and even this Recto mix, which I think is a 57 and a 121, but I could be wrong. And this is from the York Audio cab pack. This one here, the 4x12 Recto, is also York Audio, but it's stock in the Axe-Fx 3. So here's what it sounds like through my favorite mix on the York Audio cab pack. So that's right when I dial it up. I'm going to go through these cabinets, and you can kind of just listen to the difference it makes just from changing the cabinet. I'm going to pin this, that way I can just scroll through. This one is based off of, I believe, an orange cab. A little muddy. It's okay though. A little different position on the 57 on the mic. But I still haven't messed with anything on the amp. So let's kind of find our favorite here, at least my favorite in this video. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to add a few things on the amp. That's pretty dark. I like that one so far. Let's try this Lynch back. That might be okay. And I believe I already have this cab pack from Ownhammer, but they include them, which is really cool. Not sure why I picked that one. So I think a lot of these you can mix them, which is really cool. Here's a rectifier cabinet, position A. Recto, another one. This is from York Audio, but this is stock within the XFX3. And this is the cab that I use quite often. This is the Mix 4 out of it, the York Audio cab pack. I can never get that chord. There we go. So I'm going to keep it on that, my favorite there. So now we're going to go and we're going to actually tweak the amp. I'm just going to stick with the main tone controls. Of course, I'll probably end up dialing it in the way I normally dial in most things, which adds more gain, which the Smallbox, you know, probably not really meant for that, but you can. So let's try getting it where let's try to clean that up a little bit. Maybe a little more presence, less depth, some treble. A little bit of Lynch Mob. Maybe try. Let's see how this how the saturation switch does. That's kind of cool. And let's look at the preamp section. Let's add a little bit of a clean boost here. Now this, on the XFX3, you've probably seen it already in a bunch of other videos, but instead of putting a drive block in front of the amp and maybe adding a tube screamer or a SD1, you can come in here and you can pick from a few different input boost types. And it does have the super overdrive. It has a, did I say SD1? I don't know. So you can put an 808 in here, full tone overdrive, the fast boost, which I don't know if that's close to like a Klon boost, but let's just keep it neutral for now, and then we'll go through and see how the other ones sound, So that definitely tightens things up. Let's turn it off and see. Maybe a little less. And I know you can't hear the feel, but it feels really nice. And there's no effects there at all, right? This is just simple things, this amp and this cab. It is still a little dark, but I'm telling you, when you plug in an FRFR or go live out straight to a PA, I'm guessing this will be actually pretty nice and cut through just fine. Maybe let's try an 808. Let's take this 808 maybe up a little bit. Maybe let's add a little bit of color to this dry Smallbox. maybe a little bit of, I don't usually put reverb on here, but when I'm playing live especially. But especially if you're in in-ears, you can actually put just a tiny bit of reverb or a small amount of delay, maybe a little slapback, and that'll help things out. I say slapback, more of like a 250 millisecond delay, and that adds a little bit. But if you turn the mix down, it doesn't get overpowering live or in your in-ears. So let's do, I think I did medium plate. And just a little bit. Maybe a little delay. You can route this a number of ways, so the reverb's not going into the delay, but we're going to keep it simple. But you can get some different sounds if you separate these out and then have them all going into the output, but separately. But I'm going to add, I like a tape delay. Let's see what that does. And there's a balance as well, because at home it sounds great. Now you put it live or in in-ears or even through an FR, and that small amount of delay you thought was small at home now becomes just gigantic, and you're frantically going around trying to lower that mix level. So a good idea, and something I like to do is very common, is adding an expression pedal and maybe tying it to the mix. And then I'll keep that, maybe let's try, the smallest amount, which I would probably do is 5%. Sometimes I'll take this feedback down for a stereo, so it's not just trailing, right? So the repeats are cut down a little bit. And then maybe, for something crazy on a solo, I might have the top end of the expression pedal over 20 or 25%. Now you can go into EQ as well, of course modulation, but you could have those repeats, put like a high cut on these, right? And you could really to where it cuts down that harshness, or you may not want a high cut at all, You can hear that. So take it down here. Let's do a 5. Let's try that. So here it's a little bit softer. So you can hear that high end, and that's where this high cut comes in. So you can experiment with what you like. So you get the point here. I mean, it really is, out of the box sounds great, but tweaking it to your liking, changing that cab up, that can make a huge difference. And I encourage you to play around with it, maybe put a song together, put it together in the mix, see how it sounds. Play it out live, kind of, playing with different cabinets and see how they cut through. So as always, click that subscribe button. Make sure you click the bell for notifications and leave me a comment if you want. See ya.